Good morning, guys. Nerona out here, and I've just built up one of my new Devinci AC e-bikes. Now, I'm going to go through a lot of stuff here, but I'm so pumped on this bike. Number one, on how it turned out, and I really want to thank the guys at One Up Components. John Hatfield, he basically helped me build this bike, but also helped me with all the cool bits on the bike that are orange. So I call this going hunting, but I got a little bit of safety. So a little bit of background on e-bikes for me. I grew up racing mountain bikes. I've been in kind of the industry racing and stuff for over 30 years. And about 5 years ago, I rode my first e-bike, and I knew it was the future. Absolutely loved it. And through those 4 years, I've ridden over 26,000 kilometers on Devinci e-bikes. And I've gone from everything from 27.5-inch wheel size to 29ers, and this is a mullet bike, and I'm going to talk a little bit about all those and my experiences. So why I got into e-biking is I first tried it in a hardtail, and I was like, when these come full suspension, I'm all in. So when they came out full suspension, I was all in. I started off with Devinci clearly because I thought they built the best bike. They were the only bike at the time that had 180 mil front travel and 170 in the back, which is kind of like this current bike here, even though this is a 2021. This is 2018. And I just saw e-bikes as you don't need to worry about a lot of stuff that you do need to worry about when you're pedaling under your own power on a regular bike. Really, it's a measurement of what you're willing to carry up the hill for a lot of the downs. And I love climbing. It's one of my favorite things to do, especially technical climbing, and we'll talk a little bit about why I feel this is better on an e-bike. So I first year had that bike, put about 6,500 K on, and I was just blown away at what I was doing, where I was getting to, riding every day, climbing every day hard, between 3,000 and 4,000 vertical feet. And then the following year, stayed with a 27.5, love the bike, and because I like uphill, hard technical and pushing it, I really like the smaller wheel size. I felt it was quick on the draw to move, and the suspension on the bike was incredible at 100 mil travel. Coming from racing, my weakness coming from cross country and adventure racing was really gnarly downs. I live in Squamish, there's lots of those, so the bigger suspension just really helped me progress my riding to what I was doing now rather than back in the old days when I was racing. And then 2019 came, 2019, 2020, and the 27.5 bikes were held up due to build. So I got a 29er, and I wasn't really psyched on it. I went back on, rode a Devinci 29er regular bike, and I felt it was just a little bit slow. I'd hit the rear wheel because I'm a short guy at 5'7", and still have a little old school tendencies to tuck my rear end down and hit the tire. But I got that 29er and I rode it, and within 2 days I was like, I'm off 27.5. The bike clearly is quicker, faster. It was faster everywhere. And I was worried about those uphill climbs. It was faster, and it was faster on the descent. So I stick with 29er, and I've been loving those bikes. Now, I almost want to make this, because I did a lot of moto enduro as well, I want to make this like a 4-stroke, 2-stroke. 4-stroke is faster. There's no doubt about that on the track. Even in the trails, if it's not super gnarly, 4-stroke is just gets around corners easier, it's kind of smoother, makes a lower rider better. So it really does, and that's kind of what I feel a 29er does. So if you're racing and you're trying to go as fast as possible, 29er is really there. Coming back to a 27.5 though, and this being a mullet, so it's even a little bit different, it means that, oh boy, the bike is quicker. It's like a 2-stroke. You kind of bounce a little bit more, but it's the energy is a little bit higher, so that makes it more fun for those who like that. So that's how I would describe this bike. So this one is also different. It comes as a 27.5, but thanks to my friends at One Up, they were like, you got to mullet that bike. And so we've tried it. We've put a Fox 38 super high end with all the bells and whistles, because a guy like me needs them, and put a 29er on the front, and it absolutely is sick. It now floats over that stuff like a 29er on the front. I will say that it's not as smooth as a 29er. But again, it really depends what you want to do. So it's like quick on the draw and moves around, and absolutely love it. A little bit about this bike and why I love Devinci e-bikes is this bike retails for $72.99 in retail stores, Canadian. So it's just an amazing package, and basically comes with a brand new EP8 Shimano motor. I've been using the Steps 8000, so this is my first foray into the Shimano motor. I'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. And it's got a 500 watt-hour battery, so technically you could ride at 30 kilometers an hour on a flat parking lot for 2 hours. Okay, that's kind of how the battery works. 250 into 500, it goes twice, so you can do that for 2 hours. However, when we involve mountain biking in the mountains, going up vertical, my experience is you get about 23 to 24K, 3,000 feet of climbing on boost, depending on your climbing, whether you're going up a logging road, which is a little bit easier on the battery, or whether you're technically climbing and going up steep stuff, which is more on the battery and more on you as well. It has 180 mil travel. The fork that comes on this bike, keeping it at 27.5 front and back, is the 38E Performance from Fox. Because we wanted to mullet, I took that off and put the similar fork on there as well. And everything else is stock except for the awesome ProGuard mud fenders. I use these because, boy, does it just keep you dry on the, I ride in all conditions. And also I use one of the back ones, and it keeps all the dirt and stuff out of, just out of your pivots and your bearings and everything. So it just keeps the bike cleaner, keeps you cleaner, and I love them. I get bugged all the time on fenders and for riding an e-bike, which is why I use handguards, because these actually do work, but they also deflect negative comments. So that's why we run them. And but it's really set up nicely with Shimano Dior, 12 speed. So I was running 11 speed, now have 12 speed up to 51. Biggest cog was 46 before. And 4-piston Dior brakes. So this thing is rad. On the one-up side, I changed the grips to the one-up grips because they're just so nice. They got this really nice top soft spot, and then the grip that you get from the chimes in here are just amazing. I use the carbon one-up bar. Now, I will be honest with you, I used to change everything on my mountain bike, and through sponsorship and all that sort of stuff. And then for a long time, working with Shimano, I would change anything on a bike. The last bike I rode for 5,000 kilometers was SRAM GX. I put 5,000 K on the drivetrain. The chain was literally hanging on the bike, but the shifting worked perfectly. And so I just sold it, so put a new drivetrain on it, and it's like brand new. I will say between SRAM and Shimano, I am partial to Shimano. I kind of grew up on it racing. I love the feel of everything. Always works really, really well. Having said that, I'm not shy to run SRAM on a bike. It's not a killer for me, although there's some things like about the brakes and some things I don't like about them as well. But this carbon bar, I was like, hey, I don't really need to change a lot of stuff. And then I changed it to this bar, and it just changes the ride completely. Especially when you're riding an aluminum bike, this carbon bar really makes a big difference, especially here in Squamish with all the rock and dirt and fast riding. It is super stiff, but just really nice and compliant. It's one of the biggest things I noticed, and I don't notice a lot. My wife actually noticed it, which was a huge thing, and she never notices anything. She just likes getting out and riding, so very cool. Added the EDC tool. That's how you can keep all your stuff right up front here. So as you can see, you don't have to ride with a backpack or anything like that. I run Cush Cores, and I think it's a must-have for e-bikes. And the reason why I run Cush Cores is I got lots of flats when I ran tubes. My friend was crazy, why are you running tubes? You should run tubeless. The problem with tubeless is that you generally do it to go lower value in your air pressure so that you can climb up stuff and descend stuff, and that's all true. However, I found on an e-bike, as you ride faster and faster and faster and hit things harder, I was still getting flats, and then you dent your rim if you're running tubeless. So the only way to combat, and I won't ride a bike now without them, is to put Cush Core inserts. Again, with an e-bike, the weight doesn't matter. So you can have all the rad stuff that's gonna make you radder without sacrificing any performance. And it sounds funny to say that, but this bike rides like it's an old 20-pound race bike, and it's 57 pounds. So 1/3 my body weight. So the Cush Cores, what they allow you to do is they protect the rim because they're an insert that goes in. You can run low pressure. I'm running right now 16 PSI in the back and 18 PSI to 19 PSI in the front. I haven't had a flat in 3 years, so I don't carry anything. If you do get a flat, you could ride it home on the rim. It's not going to damage it because of the Cush Core, and but it's never happened to me. And one of the advantages is that, boy, you'll notice that the wheel kind of, I say, feels dead. It's like a moto with a moose in it. You don't ricochet off roots and rocks anymore. You float over them, so it provides additional suspension. It grips everything better. It gives you more confidence in corners and everything. And I absolutely will not run a bike without them. And of course, yeah, they just work super, super well. Talking about the Shimano motor, so I've been running the steps for 26,000 kilometers, and just on the EP8, love this motor. It's super quiet. Notice a little bit of the power. I haven't noticed the noise that everybody says, but noise is something you just kind of put out of your head, whatever it is. It's like, if you're doing it, you don't hear it, but other people hear it, and some people get really picky on that kind of stuff. But so far, love this motor. Having said that, if you're looking at an e-bike and it has Steps 8000, I would not blink and bat an eye at not getting that bike because you think this motor is going to make you some sort of superstar. It has some great features on it, but it isn't really going to change how you're going to, if you're going to be better or not. And that may change as I ride more. Now, this has a 500 watt-hour battery. Comments on Pink Bike or other places would say, that's old technology, why such a small battery? Here's the thing, guys. I can do single rides on a 500 watt-hour battery and get like a wicked hour and 20 minutes, hour 15 minutes, depending where I go. All on boost. I only ride boost. So, when I want to do a longer ride, I take an extra battery. Now, hear me out on this. That's when I take a backpack, and it's 6.5 pounds for a 500 watt-hour battery, so super easy to carry. E-bikes, until they're at 1,000 or 1,100 watt-hours of battery power in the bike, you will always need two. Sure, you can do a longer ride on a 630 watt-hour or 700 or 750. However, when you do a longer ride, you're still going to need to take an extra battery on some of the rides that I do. So here's the thing. If I need 1,000, I just take two and I use my 1,000. Most of the time, it's just under 1,000, so I never really come back without battery power. But the person who has 750 or even 630, you're still going to need a second battery like me, but now you have either 1,260 or 1,400 watt hours, and you're carrying back almost 300 to 400 watt hours of battery. So it's almost like having one of these in your backpack and never using it. So the new Norco at 900 watt hour is a leader right now, and I think that's an awesome bike. But my friend has one and he says it's still not enough. I wish it had 100 or 200 more, and then you could ride from home and do some big rides around here. I ride from home and do either all the gondola trails or up to Brome Ridge, and but I have two batteries, and so it's just an add-on. Again, adding a battery, which is about $1,000 on this bike, is still going to bring it in almost just over $8,000. So it's still almost $2,000 cheaper than the next level bike up there from Common Cell, Norco, or whatever, with all the rad bits on it. Now, I will tell you a lot of things that don't matter on an e-bike. Weight is one of them. But also what they allow you to do is, because you're getting an assist on the uphill, you can add all these things like a coilover and, you know, beefier tires, all the things that you might not run on your regular bike. Cush Cores, because the weight really doesn't matter because you're getting help, but they all matter on the descent. So if you want to improve your riding, one way is with an e-bike, because you're going to ride more, you're going to have more fun, and you're going to have the parts on there that allow you to do better when you're out there. So that's a little bit about the e-bike. I was going to just think if I had anything else to say. Yeah, so far on this mullet, I absolutely love it. I'm going to give it a month and then do another lowdown. I got another 29er coming, so I'll be able to do a back-to-back comparison. Now, a little bit about e-biking and why you hear this thing, you can get so fit on an e-bike. And people are like, you cannot do that because this is a motorized thing and it's a dirt bike and whatever. And it's amazing to me how many people don't understand fitness, okay? So there's two types of fitness you can get. There's cardio fitness and there's strength fitness. For riding a regular mountain bike, you need both. That's what makes it a really hard sport. Just like running up a mountain, you need to have strength in your legs and all of your body and a cardio. But what do you run out first? What happens when you go uphill on a bicycle is that your muscles get taxed, they need more oxygen, you breathe in and out, so you breathe really high, and then it tries to go to your muscles, and eventually you run out, and that slows you down, all right? So I always tell people, if that never happened, if your muscles didn't get tired, would you go faster? And the answer is yes, because you're breathing in oxygen, and it's not having to feed those muscles. So you go faster, harder, quicker. So all an e-bike does is change the workout from a muscular workout which is a muscular then cardio workout straight to a cardio workout, because you're saving about 40% of the energy that you're putting in, maybe 50%. And so you go faster. And yes, you can ride the bike easier. That's also another thing. If you're super tired after riding every day, you can go cruising through, but guess what? You're not going to go as fast. So it's kind of like, say, you could do that on a regular bike. You could just go half the speed, but it's not as fun. So you want to go, if you're a rider who rides, you want to go as fast as the bike can take you. And what an e-bike does is allow you to go up a hill faster at a higher rate of cardio. So you get a better cardio workout because you're not taxing your legs. Once you get to the top, you recover from a cardio workout way faster than a muscular workout. Just try going up the hill in the hardest gear on a regular bike. You get to the top, it's going to take you a while to recover. But if you go up in a small gear and spin, you recover really fast, but because your cardio recovers faster. That's why when you finish a ride, you're like, holy cow, I could go do that again. And you are digging into your body's stores, but not as much as a regular bike. So what I love about it is that I can go super fast. I can get a 3-hour ride in 1 hour. I can go way out there and do 2-hour rides that are normally would be 6-hour rides. And the reason for that is, man, I did 18 years of racing, over 500 races, training every day, never was injured, raced through the winter, cross-country ski racing, raced through the mountain biking, adventure, mountain biking, all that. And I don't need to go for a 5-6 hour ride anymore. I like tapping out at 2 or maybe 3 hours if I do a big epic on an e-bike, and that is a really big epic. And so I'm not saying that it is better. It's better for me and better for a lot of people. I will say, Brash, if you're not able to be in sort of the top 10 or 15% of a race, you should be on an e-bike. You will have a better cadence. It'll be better on your ligaments and your muscles. You'll improve faster, and you'll have a better cardio. So despite what most people think, you're not going to win a race training on this and then going to a regular bike race, obviously, because you don't have as much muscular, but you will actually be stronger than you were if you didn't ride one of these. These are like interval machines. So if you don't think you can get fitter on one of these, then you don't believe in intervals or motor pacing, which was still is and is a huge part of being fast on a bicycle if you're racing. So that's a little bit about e-bikes. I'm gonna go ride and have some fun. If you haven't tried one, get out and try one. And riding one around a parking lot at 30 kilometers an hour does not show you what one of these bikes can do. Just like if you bought a new enduro regular bike, riding around a parking lot will not show you what that does on the trail and how it goes down. You have to ride one of these, I say 3 to 7 days, and then the light bulb goes off and you're like, holy cow, these are awesome. So if you have any questions, put them in the comments below. You can order these ProGuard fenders online. They ship Canada Post directly to your house. The best fender out here for the best value. Any one-up parts and anything else, of course, you can visit your local bike store. I'm going to be heading to Corsa later this afternoon to pick up a few more little bits. I want to thank those guys for setting me up with this Fox 38. They're hard to get right now. I had to buy a lot of Homer Simpson donuts. We'll see you out in the trails.